Hello there, this is DBT, and this is Art of Runes. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt 9 on Nintendo Switch, and today I'm gonna be talking about what has been happening in this version of the game because, oh boy, this version has always been special. Now, it's even more special, but I'm not necessarily sure that it's in a better way. First of all, we're still stuck in the European Season 2. We've been stuck in this season for the past... I don't even know at this point. It has gotten so many extensions. So the European Season 2 was meant to last, what, like 4 weeks or something. We're like in week 7, if not week 8. Every time that it's a Friday when the new season should drop, this continues to get extended and extended. And for a long time, we didn't really know why. All we knew is that, oh my god, Gameloft is supposed to be... the Switch version is supposed to be catching to the global version and all of that stuff, but it really hadn't. And there were weeks and weeks where there was absolutely nothing to do, no new events. A lot of cards that had not been made available, and they were still unavailable to acquire. By that I mean cards that were already inside of the game files. So I'm not talking obviously about cards that were not added in the files yet. No, cards that were already there, but it's like, yep. And when are we gonna get that? I don't know. So anyway, the point is that we have been waiting for a long time. Now finally, Gameloft has been a bit more open in telling us, and by us I mean the players in the Asphalt 9 Discord server, specifically in the Switch version, about the fact that, well, they want to update the game for sure, but they have been unable to due to complications. And boy, do the Switch team have some massive complications. We'll talk about that in the next race. And the very first complication comes in the form of an announcement that Joe made just a couple of days ago. And it's this one where it says, "Hello Legends, as many of you know by now, Gameloft's Cluj, I don't know how to pronounce that, offices are due to be closed by the end of June, with all the staff being laid off, including myself. Due to this fact, I have decided to step down early from any official role on Discord, as my priorities will need to shift in the following months." And then he proceeds obviously to give his thanks to the community and all of this stuff, which is obviously appreciated. I'm gonna leave this here if you want to read it. But right away, this confirms one thing that had been rumored since, I don't know, a couple months ago, or maybe at the very least like a full month ago, that I heard indeed that with the update to Asphalt Unite, what that also meant is that the team that has been working on the Switch version of the game, it's gonna be fired or laid off, if you want to put it in nicer words. But the reality is that they're getting fired, and that is honestly something that it's upsetting, concerning, and not only in the most selfish way of, oh, what's going to happen to the Switch version, but also because, you know, this has been a tendency in terms of the video game, what would you call it, the video game world industry, video game industry, that's the word I was looking for. So yeah, it is definitely something that is sad to hear that an entire team will be laid off. And honestly, I mean, who knows what is the deal with Gameloft as a whole, as a company and whatnot. But one thing that is very clear to me is that the team that has been working on the Nintendo Switch version of the game has been a team that absolutely loves this game. Because you can see the fact that they made it work, a game that is considerably heavy, and how old the Nintendo Switch is, how they have worked to optimize it, even with all of the issues that it still has with textures disappearing and all of that. But you know, getting the game to work, and then all these fancy features that we got compared to the global version in terms of what I've always talked about, the fact that this is the only version of the game that can be played offline, that it has quick race, you can play in whatever track that you want by yourself, even without needing an internet connection. Is such a big deal that no other version of the game has. So I can see that a lot of love and effort was put into this version of the game, and for Gameloft as a big company to fire the team that has been working on this for all this time, it just saddens me. Both, like I said, in a way thinking of the game and the future of this version of the game, but also for all the people that, well, this has been their job for the past, I don't know how many years. Joe mentioned like 4 years or something, but I mean, this version has been going on for, what, 5, 6 years? I don't even know anymore, but it's definitely been a while, so... And I don't want to throw shade or anything, but it does feel a little bit like a bad move or a prickly move to be like, well, okay, well, first of all, the date in which Joe said that the team will be laid off is at the end of June, which coincides with the idea of releasing Asphalt Unite in July. And the rumor that I had heard was precisely that the idea was for the Switch team to basically lay all the groundwork to get Unite going in the Nintendo Switch, and then after that they get laid off. Which is, one of those cases where, hey, we're going to fire you, but you gotta train your replacements. That type of situation. It kind of feels like that. And again, I'm not trying to throw shade at the team that is going to be taking care of Asphalt 9 in Unite and onwards. But once again, it's just like, yeah, you guys need to get it working. You need to struggle and make this whole thing work. And after you've put all of that work into this version, then yeah, you're out. So I don't know. That does sadden me. It upsets me because I've been in a kind of similar position when it comes to a job. And yeah, when you put all of the work and then you laid all of the work for someone else to keep on working based on all the things that you did. Now that you've paved the road and it's I'm not gonna say easy, but you've set the foundation. I don't know. It just feels so wrong, man. And while I normally like making videos that are much more upbeat and all, I can't hide this frustration that I feel over this situation because, again, we don't know why is it that Gameloft as a big company is deciding to lay off this team, but is it really worth it? And precisely, I was just thinking on how, well, I don't know since when the Switch team knows about the situation that they were gonna be getting laid off and all of this stuff, but I imagine that they probably got a notice from, I don't know, some time ago. So it just kind of explains to a certain degree a little bit the emptiness found in the game for the last, I don't know how many weeks. And I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not trying to imply that, oh, they were being lazy, not lazy, or oh, they were just not wanting to work because they knew that they were going to get fired. Though I can actually understand that because something like that has happened to me before. Maybe I'll talk about that at some of the points. But I could even understand that, but I don't think that is the case. It's just that I would imagine it would be extremely demoralizing precisely to be like, well, the clock is ticking down. After that time, you're going to be out. But you still got to put a ton of effort, a lot of work to get this thing going for Unite because, you got to do it. And that precisely brings me to the other announcement that was made earlier this week, which ties to this whole idea that the Switch team, whoever is still working in the Switch team, because I wouldn't be surprised if more people also left the team being like, oh, you're gonna fire me? Well, I quit. That's just how things are, You can't expect someone to react nicely to being told like, oh, yeah, you're gonna get fired after this date, or so I would understand that, but yeah, I can see a little bit why there has been such a huge struggle to catch this version of the game to the global. Because remember, I've explained this a bunch of times, but this version of the game, the Switch version, was like a year behind of the global version. And the whole idea now was precisely to, hey, you need to make it catch up so that in July 17, Asphalt Unite can launch and all of the content from global is already here on the Switch. How are you gonna do it? How are you gonna smush or put all of that stuff? How are you gonna fit 1 year's worth of content in a few months? That's up to you. That is your problem, but you gotta make sure that it's ready because, by the way, after this date, you're out. You see why I'm saying that this is so upsetting? That really is the word that I have for this. So with this in mind of them being pushed so hard to be like, oh, you gotta get this thing ready in time because blah, 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 blah. Like I said, there was this other announcement that was made earlier this week, which reads, posted by Stephanie, we're currently having, new update delay. We're currently having more unexpected issues with the transition to Asphalt Legends Unite, so things might be delayed further. We don't have an ETA from the team yet, but we'll try to keep you updated with any news the team shares with us about the new season, a new season. So this is what I was saying, that the game hasn't been updated. It was due for an update like from a month ago, and it just kept being pushed and pushed and pushed. I made a video talking about it, but at the time, it was because, oh, maybe the team that was working on this actually took some holidays and this and that, and because all of that stuff. Now with this information in mind that, well, that they're gonna get fired. There's no nice way of putting it. They're getting fired. I can understand why. Like I said, maybe less work was put into that. I'm gonna give you that little anecdote regarding that job situation that I had quite a few years back. I used to work in a customer service job over the phone for an American company. It was customer service, technical support, and this and this and that, right? I won't mention companies' names or anything, but just have an idea that it was for a very, very big company in the United States that provided some service. I'm just gonna leave it at that. The point is that at some point the company, because everything is outsourced, right? So the big American company outsourced the labor of customer care to Mexico. You know that I'm from Mexico, so people from Mexico that spoke English were able to get that job through a company here in Mexico. So anyway, the point is that this big company in the United States tells the company in Mexico, oh, you know what? By that date, we're gonna end the contract. So basically, all of you are gonna get fired. So obviously the company tells all of us, the workers that were on the phones, and we're like, yep, you know what, guys, we've been told that by this date, this big company in the United States will cease to, work with us, or we're gonna cease, whatever, you know what I'm saying, right? They were basically firing the Mexican company. And here's where, listen, it's not that I approve of this, but you cannot expect something else from people. Before I lose the train of thought while this thing is loading, so in general, maybe some people don't know about this, but customer service jobs tend to be very, very picky on, oh, you gotta give scripts, you as the worker, right, as the person that answers the phone. They're like, okay, you need to have the script for this, a script for that. You cannot give information about this or about that. And you're constantly being monitored as a worker to make sure, by quality assurance and all of that stuff. And they're always checking, whatever. So it's something that is very monitored for the workers, because obviously it's important for the main company, in this case, the American company, that their customers are treated well and whatnot. Okay, so again, once people over here heard that, oh, everybody's getting fired, well, let's say that the attitude of the workers changed, and they were still going to work for sure, because they still wanted to get paid, but they started being a little bit lax in their following of the rules, where normally an opening script would be like, thank you for calling this company, my name is this, how can I help you? The people just started messing around and be like, thank you for calling the big company, I'm Batman, how can I help you? And dumb stuff like that. You're calling the Justice League, how can I help you? I remember one particular case of some, obviously, again, and I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that the workers did, it was a good thing for them to do this, but like I said, you can understand why they did it, right? So I remember some co-worker that was like answering the phone, and he was not being exactly very helpful to the actual customer. And the customer was like, oh, I'm done talking with you, I want your supervisor. And he's like, okay, wait a second. Okay, I have been promoted to supervisor, so how can I help you? So yeah, again, I'm not saying that was right to do, but when you're just being told, yeah, you're gonna lose your job by this date, and yet I expect you to continue working the same way. In an ideal world, everybody would be professional and be like, yeah, no, I have a commitment and all of this. But in the real world, especially when it's a company that has not been treating you all that well or anything, you're like, well, maybe it's time to get my revenge. But anyway, leaving my anecdotes aside and coming back to the topic of the Asphalt 9 Switch team. So yeah, apparently now they're under massive pressure to get the whole thing going, ready for Unite, just in time so that whatever other team is going to take over and then continue from there. So they're basically pressing them to go double time at this in a task that is gargantuan. And what is going to be the prize from having succeeded? Well, you're still getting fired. So, man, like I said, I've learned to love the Switch version of the game for the many reasons that I've talked in the past. And again, I'm sad to see the team go. I know that a lot of people love to be hypercritical of anything that doesn't go perfectly fine. Oh, it was an update and it had some bugs and this and that, and didn't you test it? The same stuff that a lot of people that don't have a clue what working on a project that gets deployed to dozens of thousands of people is like. And they love to be super critical about it, but whatever. In spite of any of those complaints, it is very clear to me, and I think it should be clear to everybody that has played the global version of the game, that the Switch version, it's it's a work of art, and simply getting it to work on the Nintendo Switch, which again is a very underpowered system, and make it work pretty well. And then with all the fancy fun stuff that we have gotten with the unique events that we have gotten, the advantages that we have over here, man, all of that stuff, I think all of that is gonna go away. And some weeks ago I made a video precisely talking about these features that are unique to the Switch that I think may be precisely disappearing once Asphalt Legends Unite happens, because once they, well, unify all of the development for all of the consoles at the same time, consoles and PC and whatever, right? I don't think they would be very interested on keeping and maintaining these extra features that are unique to the Switch, seeing that the global version has never cared for things like quick race and all of that. We have been asking for that for years, and they always said like, no, it's not planned, so we'll see. And the reality, that is just a nice way of saying, no, it's not gonna happen. So yeah, I've already talked about all of this, so I don't want to go too much over that particular topic. But yeah, I do believe that the offline would be going away. I fear that quick race is going to go away, and that, I think, it's a really bad thing for the preservation of this game. But that's a completely different topic that I will go into at some other points. For now, I just wanted to take this opportunity to give you a little bit of a, in case you did not know about any of this, to give you a little bit of a heads up as to what is happening, or what it seems that is happening, because obviously I don't really have like any insider information or anything. All I know is what we've been told, but even with what little we've been told, it definitely looks, well, honestly, it looks grim. But only time will tell what is gonna happen in the long run. Again, even if all of these features that I'm so sad that they may go away actually stay in the Switch version and all, that doesn't take away the fact that this whole situation with them laying off the entire team that has worked on this version for all this time, it doesn't take away the fact that that is such a sad, completely sad situation, upsetting situation for me. Because again, I can put myself in the shoes of all of them, and that is never a good thing, to know that your job that has been stable for all of this time, suddenly you're out of it. So I do hope, and maybe this is not my place to say, or who am I to try to tell the developers a word, but if I may take that liberty, I do want to tell the developers that I hope that everybody, the developers and all the team, not only developers, you know, anybody else that doesn't necessarily work in a development situation, but basically I hope that everybody managed to land on their feet. I hope that they get to find a job quickly, that it's a job that at the very least is as good, if not better, as whatever or however was the job here on the Asphalt 9 Nintendo Switch version and all of that stuff. I really hope that they land on the feet, because again, this is sadly, like I said at the very beginning of this video, it's a situation that we are seeing way too much in terms of the video game industry, where you hear more and more about, oh, they're shutting this studio, they're shutting that studio. For what reasons, I don't know. I really don't know. But all I can tell you is that it sucks. It really sucks. But alright, sorry to end this in a little bit of a downer, but again, just wanted to, in a way, pay my respects to the people working in this version of the game, and I really hope, like I said, that they land on their feet. But alright, if you enjoyed this video, you want to do a like and all of that stuff, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.